Welcome back to the world of ReZero. In the previous recap, we witnessed Subaru, a 17-year-old NEET who suddenly finds himself transported to another world on his way home from the convenience store. In this mysterious fantasy realm, death is not the end, and every choice carries life-altering consequences. Now, prepare for the next 12 episodes, where Subaru's resolve will be pushed to the limit, and the shadows of the past will be revealed in unexpected ways. Subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell to stay updated. The tale continues, as the nobles are surprised to hear that Felt hails from the slums. It sparks tension between them and the Imperial Knights. Felt firmly announces her decision to abstain from the royal election and engages in a heated argument with the other candidate. Meanwhile, our main heroine, Emilia, faces criticism for her half-elf heritage. However, Subaru steps forward, declaring himself as Emilia's knight. Accidentally, he insults the Knights of Lugunica, which dramatically offends Julius, a member of the Royal Guard, also known as a Spirit Knight. Brom intervenes by breaking into the throne room with the intention of taking Felt away. But his attempt is futile, as he is swiftly apprehended. In a desperate bid to rescue Rom, Felt reluctantly agrees to enter the royal election, vowing to dismantle the existing nation once she emerges victorious. Later, Julius challenges Subaru to a duel, wielding wooden swords. However, in a one-sided confrontation, Julius mercilessly defeats Subaru. Upon regaining consciousness, Emilia advises Subaru to remain in the capital for recovery. She and Roswell, an Imperial wizard, depart for the mansion, leaving Subaru behind. Subaru firmly refuses to remain in the capital, and, in response, Emilia inquires about his motivations for going to such lengths to assist her. However, Subaru cannot reveal the true nature of his ability or recount the events of the previous timeline. Emilia accuses Subaru of disguising self-interest as altruism and deems herself unworthy of happiness due to her half-elf heritage. This disagreement leads to Subaru losing his sanity, causing him to verbally lash out at Emilia, recounting his experiences from other timelines. He asserts that Emilia owes him far more than he ever owed her. Unable to bridge their differences and lacking trust in Subaru, Emilia decides to terminate their friendship. 3 days after the royal candidate selection, Subaru and Rem, one of the twin demons who work at Roswell's mansion as maids, stay at Karsten's mansion to recover and receive treatment. Subaru is deeply frustrated by his weakness and becomes fixated on intense training sessions with Wilhelm, a retired member of the Royal Guard. However, his progress remains minimal. Reinhard, an easygoing Royal Guard knight known as Sword Saint, pays a visit to Subaru, offering an apology and urging him to reconcile with Julius. Despite Reinhard's efforts, Subaru refuses to mend the rift between them. Subaru and Rem venture into town and encounter the apple vendor once more. The vendor shares that people are hesitant to support Emilia in the royal election due to her association with the jealous witch, which worries Subaru. During an evening gathering with Crush, a 20-year-old girl and one of the candidates for the royal election, and Felix, her knight, Crush advises Subaru to maintain a more positive outlook, while Felix encourages him to find a way to reconcile with Emilia. Rem also mentions a connection with Ram, her older sister, hinting at troubling developments at the Mather's domain. Fueled by concern for Rem's safety, Subaru and Rem decide to return to Roswell's mansion. However, while staying at a hotel, Rem leaves in the middle of the night, determined to help on her own in order to protect Subaru. Upon discovering Rem's departure, Subaru hires a cart driver named Otto to take him to the mansion. However, as night falls, Otto's ground dragon refuses to continue the journey. Left with no choice, Subaru continues on foot and encounters a mysterious group of individuals dressed in dark robes and hoods who surround him before vanishing. At dawn, Subaru arrives at the Arlim village, only to find lifeless bodies strewn about. His heart sinks as he reaches the mansion, where he is devastated to discover Rem's body. Subaru enters the mansion, a grim sight filled with lifeless bodies, including Ram and the children he once saved. His search leads him to a frigid room where he succumbs to the icy cold, freezing to death. Once again, Subaru returns to the vendor's stall in a new timeline. This time, he embraces Rem but is left catatonic by the overwhelming trauma. Crush and Felix contend to his physical injuries, but they are helpless in mending his shattered mental state. With Rem by his side, Subaru heads home, but their journey is interrupted when their cart is ambushed by the witch cult. In the ensuing struggle, Rem fights valiantly, but one of the assailants manages to snatch Subaru away. Subaru finds himself bound and in the presence of the deranged Sin Archbishop of Sloth, Petelgeuse. Petelgeuse criticizes Subaru for faking his insanity. Meanwhile, Rem locates their location and attempts to confront Petelgeuse and his followers, but her efforts prove futile. Rem endures a brutal torture at the hands of Petelgeuse, leaving her in a pitiable state with mangled and broken limbs. Petelgeuse abandons Subaru to a seemingly inevitable death. However, with her last ounce of strength, Rem uses magic to sever Subaru's chains and imparts her final words of encouragement and love before passing away. Stricken with grief, Subaru carries Rem's lifeless body through a landscape strewn with corpses. He finally arrives at the mansion, only to discover Rem's lifeless form. A monstrous puck emerges outside the mansion and tells Subaru to sleep along with my daughter and then beheads him. Subaru awakens once more at the vendor's stall, consumed by rage and determined to confront Petelgeuse. Aware that Petelgeuse's cult plans to attack the mansion and village in 3 days, Subaru embarks on a quest to seek help from the other royal candidate. His first plea for assistance is directed at Crush, but she perceives no benefit in aiding her rival and remains unmoved by Subaru's desperate pleas. She believes that hatred and madness drive him, further deterring her from helping. Subaru then approaches Priscilla, the head of House Bariel and the candidate for the royal election, and, in a bizarre turn of events, is lured into licking her foot, unaware that it's a jest. Priscilla reacts by ruthlessly kicking him, chastising Subaru for his perceived lack of loyalty and devotion to Emilia. Next, he encounters Anastasia, the 22-year-old head of the famous Haitian trading company and one of the candidates for the royal election, on the streets and attempts to negotiate with her. However, Subaru inadvertently divulges information about Crush during the conversation. Anastasia, seemingly satisfied with her acquired knowledge, walks away, leaving Subaru to contemplate that understanding the desires of the other party is crucial in negotiations. Convinced that none of the other candidates will provide assistance, Subaru decides to return to the mansion and village with Rem to evacuate everyone. During their journey, a mysterious fog envelops Otto's wagon, and they come face to face with the White Whale, a menacing creature that had forced them to detour in a previous timeline. Subaru notices the disappearance of one of the accompanying merchants, but Otto has no memory of the missing individual. As the White Whale closes in, Rem makes a heart-wrenching decision to sacrifice herself to intercept the creature, knocking Subaru unconscious in the process. When he regains consciousness, he finds Otto, who claims to have no memory of Rem. Realizing that the White Whale is attracted to him as a Maybest, Subaru is thrust into a perilous situation. Desperate to save Subaru, Otto shoves him off the wagon, leaving him on the brink of death. Subaru later encounters Otto's wagon again, but he continues the journey alone, guided by the ground dragon. The following morning, villagers discover Subaru, and he collapses. He awakens in the mansion alongside Ram, having been healed by Emilia's magic. However, when Subaru mentions Rem to Ram, she does not recall her sister. To his dismay, when he informs Emilia about Rem's absence, she, too, appears to have no memory of her. Furious and desperate, Subaru resolves to reveal his ability to return by death to Emilia. However, as he begins to share this secret, darkness envelops everything, and mysterious hands reach out from Subaru, causing Emilia to perish in his arms. Unexpectedly, Beatrice, the mysterious girl, enters the scene but does not execute Subaru as he feared. Instead, she teleports him and Emilia out of the mansion. Petelgeuse and his cult appear and prepare to tear Emilia apart, but the monstrous Puck emerges, demanding to know their intentions toward his daughter. The monstrous Puck swiftly dispatches Petelgeuse and his cult and then freezes Subaru to death as a punishment, blaming him for Emilia's demise and stripping Puck of his reason for existence. In a bleak twist of fate, Subaru resets again at the vendor's stall. Rem, keenly observing the sudden shift in his demeanor, is pulled aside by Subaru. He implores her to escape with him, but she declines, expressing her willingness to embark on such a journey only with the Subaru she knows and not his current self. Subaru berates himself for what he views as a wasted life and his inability to protect those he cares about. However, in a poignant moment, Rem professes her love for him, even though she understands that Subaru's heart belongs to Emilia. Her unwavering belief in him reignites a glimmer of hope in Subaru's heart, dispelling his sorrow and despair. With renewed determination, Subaru embarks on a new path, resolved to become a hero and start anew from scratch. In this new timeline, Subaru alters his approach, prioritizing the defeat of the White Whale before confronting the witch's cult. Armed with knowledge from the previous timeline, Subaru offers an alliance to Crush's camp, proposing a joint effort to combat the White Whale in exchange for shared mining rights to magic stones in Roswell's domain. Crush agrees after Subaru uses his cell phone to pinpoint the time and location of the White Whale's attack, even volunteering to draw the creature's attention. Anastasia's camp also sees the threat posed by the White Whale to their interests, and agrees to join the campaign. Subaru's ability to rally support impresses Crush, while Wilhelm shares his tragic personal connection to the White Whale as his wife, Therja, was killed by the creature, motivating him to devote his life to defeating it. The following day, Subaru and Rem, riding a ground dragon named Patrash, lead the armies of both Crush and Anastasia's camps to the Flugel Tree, where they anticipate the White Whale's arrival. As night falls, the White Whale appears precisely as Subaru predicted, and the battle commences. The battle against the White Whale kicks off with the activation of the Night Banisher, temporarily transforming the night sky into daylight. Subaru and Rem skillfully lure the whale towards them while the armies of Crush and Anastasia launch a coordinated assault. Wilhelm boldly slashes at the whale from close quarters in an attempt to ground it. Despite these efforts, the white whale remains afloat, defying their attacks. It retaliates by releasing a fog from glands on its skin, a devastating weapon Subaru dubs the Fog of Elimination. Subaru realizes that this fog erases a person's existence, adding a dire dimension to the battle. The battle takes a toll on the armies as soldiers begin to vanish into the fog, prompting Subaru to desperately employ his Return by Death ability. He uses this power to lure the white whale away from the wounded troops, putting himself in harm's way. Wilhelm and Ricardo's unit bravely follow Subaru and persistently assault the white whale, but they face setbacks. Wilhelm is swallowed by the creature, and Ricardo sustains severe injuries. As the fog clears, 3 whales are seen floating in the sky. The armies become demoralized by the appearance of 3 whales. While running alongside Crush and watching the armies engage 2 of the whales, Subaru notices a crucial detail. They all share a gouged left eye. This revelation leads him to conclude that 2 of the whales are mere duplicates of the third, which keeps its distance from the ongoing battle. The key to victory lies in defeating the original whale. In a daring move, Rem propels Subaru towards the elusive whale on an ice shard. Subaru taunts the creature and then descends toward the ground, using his unique connection to the witch to draw the whale towards him in the flugel tree. Rem skillfully catches Subaru, while the armies employ magic and explosives to topple the tree onto the approaching whale. Trapped beneath the fallen tree, the whale becomes immobilized, and Wilhelm launches a frenzied assault, ultimately avenging Thurge's death by slaying the beast. This victory causes the other 2 whales to vanish, marking a turning point in the battle. With the white whale defeated, Subaru shifts his focus back to his initial mission, saving Emilia and the villagers from the witch's cult. Recognizing his bravery, the Crush and Anastasia camps contribute soldiers and knights to assist Subaru in eradicating the cult, which includes notable figures like Wilhelm, Felix, and the Pearl-Batten sibling. Meanwhile, the injured and weakened, including Rem, begin their journey back. Subaru receives additional reinforcements from Anastasia's mercenaries, but to his surprise, among them stands Julius. Following a heated exchange of insults with Julius, Subaru somewhat reconciles with him. Subaru's assault on the witch's cult begins with an ingenious tactic. He approaches Petelgeuse, using the distinct scent of the witch that makes Petelgeuse believe Subaru is the Archbishop of Pride. When Petelgeuse realizes that Subaru lacks the gospel he should possess as an archbishop and that Subaru claims to have defiled it, Petelgeuse completely loses his composure. With Petelgeuse's guard down, Mimi and Tivy launch a surprise attack, obliterating the hideout. Wilhelm seizes the opportunity to dispatch Petelgeuse while the rest of his group goes after Petelgeuse's 10 disciples, known as the Fingers. However, the remnants of Petelgeuse's soul reside within one of the Fingers, leading to a deadly encounter. She employs her unseen hands to kill some of the group and captures Subaru. Fortunately, a tiny spirit distracts the Finger, enabling Wilhelm to eliminate her and rescue Subaru. Subaru is distraught by his critical error, which resulted in the deaths of soldiers. Nevertheless, Wilhelm encourages him to persevere. Otto and his merchant guild ride to evacuate the residents of the mansion and the village, while Felix advises Subaru to reconcile with Julius. As Subaru approaches Julius, he suddenly finds himself alone on the road, shrouded in a mysterious blue mist. Ram mysteriously appears on a cliff above, holding a bright blue flower. Enveloped in the eerie blue mist, Subaru is attacked by aggressive plants. However, he is rescued from the illusion's grip by the tiny spirit, La, that Julius had tasked with protecting him. Julius liberates the other soldiers and merchants from the enchantment, but the relief is short-lived as Ram suddenly attacks Subaru, believing he abandoned Emilia. Once the misunderstanding is cleared up, Subaru endeavors to initiate the evacuation of the villagers. Facing skepticism and mistrust from the villagers, Subaru and Emilia struggle to persuade them to leave. Ram intervenes, using her persuasive abilities to convince the villagers to heed their warnings. During the evacuation, Felix discovers that one of the merchants is actually a member of the witch's cult. The merchant self-destructs, incapacitating Subaru. When Subaru regains consciousness, he realizes that the witch's cult has descended upon the village. He learns that the Archbishop of Sloth's power can be transferred to other Fingers who have infiltrated the merchants. In a climactic confrontation with the final Finger, Emilia arrives and defeats the antagonist. After the battle, Les suddenly abandons Subaru, causing him to panic and flee into the forest. Felix and Julius pursue him, but Subaru's body becomes possessed by Petelgeuse. Subaru manages to resist the possession long enough to plead with Felix and Julius to end his life. Reluctantly, they agree, and Julius deals the fatal blow. While back in the village, Emilia senses a distant disturbance. Following his unexpected reset, Subaru revisits the strategy meeting held the morning after the White Whale battle. Armed with the knowledge that the witch's cult can possess others, he devises a new plan to target the Fingers before confronting Petelgeuse himself. Wilhelm arrives at the mansion to resolve the earlier misunderstanding and orders the village's evacuation. Subaru, cloaked to conceal his identity, informs Emilia of the imminent attack and persuades her to proceed with the evacuation. Recognizing the presence of spies among the merchants, Subaru distributes an evacuation plan that is intentionally 2 hours behind schedule, leading to the capture of a spy. Subaru infiltrates Petelgeuse's hideout, posing as a potential recruit for the cult. When asked to display his gospel, he reveals the mecha he obtained from the captured spy to initiate a surprise attack. Subaru flees, with Petelgeuse and the remaining fingers in hot pursuit. Mimi and Tivy arrive to eliminate the fingers, and Subaru lures Petelgeuse toward the edge of a cliff, a familiar location from a past timeline. Julius joins the fray, aided by Subaru's ability to perceive the unseen hands as they collectively confront Petelgeuse. Julius fights Petelgeuse utilizing spirit arts to see the unseen hands through Subaru's eyes. Petelgeuse attempts to regain control over Subaru's body, but this time Subaru speaks out his return by death, bringing Petelgeuse into contact with the spirit of Sadala. The witch's rejection causes Petelgeuse to lose his grip on Subaru and flee back to his original body, ultimately leading to his demise. Upon rejoining the main group, Subaru discovers the presence of explosives in the wagon carrying Emilia and the children. Otto offers to assist Subaru in reaching Emilia in time to avert disaster. Suddenly, Petelgeuse makes a surprising return, his body held together by the unseen hands. Subaru utilizes Julius' spirit art, Aya, to set Petelgeuse ablaze, and then writes the end in his gospel book, sealing Petelgeuse's fate for good. Racing against the clock, Subaru reaches Emilia's wagon in time to uncover the explosives hidden beneath the floor. He carries the explosives on Patrash and hurls them into the carcass of the white whale at the base of the flugel tree. When the explosives detonate, Subaru is rendered unconscious but protected by his dragon. Hours later, Subaru awakens in Emilia's lap and shares his emotions and reasons for wanting to save her. Despite Emilia's belief that she has done nothing for him, Subaru confesses his love for her. Overwhelmed with tears of joy, Emilia expresses her gratitude to Subaru for saving her. And there you have it, folks, the thrilling recap of Season 1 of ReZero. If you enjoyed this journey through the world of Subaru and his adventures, don't forget to show your support by hitting that like button below. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you won't miss a moment of the action when we dive into Season 2. Thanks for joining us on this incredible adventure. And until next time, remember to keep your notifications on so you won't miss a single recap. See you soon.